Oh my gosh, just hurry up and get on with this. You haven't got enough time. You're trying to solve your own murder. Hiya, I'm back with another review for the Radio Times Book Club, sponsored by Dr. Oetker Ristorante. Now, this month's pick is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, an intense thriller that I totally devoured, alongside this intensely delicious pepperoni salami pizza from Ristorante. Let's dive in. I thought that Not Quite Dead Yet was a really interesting premise. I mean, the fact that you're trying to solve your own murder. I've never read a book like that before. It tells the story of Jet, a young girl. During Halloween, at the end of the evening, she goes back home and she's attacked. She suffers really bad head trauma and is taken to the hospital unconscious. And when she comes round, she's told that they've operated on her, but there is a piece of bone which is still lodged in her brain. If they remove it, she has a less than 10% chance of survival. But if they leave it there, within a week, she's going to develop an aneurysm which will eventually kill her. So quite early on, you're thrown straight into it in the beginning, which I thought was interesting, and it did grab me very much from the beginning. She then has to make that decision, and she goes against all of her family, and she decides that she's going to have the aneurysm, she's going to let herself die within a week, but she's going to solve her own murder. It's quite terrifying, and it's something that I've never even thought about reading or anything like that before. So I mean, to go, right, okay, solving your own murder. So it was a very interesting premise, and I was hooked from the beginning. And there's a lot of characters. I mean, there's Luke, there's her brother, her sister-in-law, mum, dad, Billy, who she's known for years, Billy's dad. I mean, there's lots and lots of characters, but because you hear their actual voice pretty early on, you get straight in there and you do get to know them. My favourite characters were, I really liked Jet. I liked that she was just she's sarcastic. She's strong. I mean, she knows her own mind. She makes such a huge decision in the beginning about not having the operation which could possibly save her life. She doesn't mind going against her mum for that. And I liked her strength, also her vulnerability, the fact that she was pretty impulsive. I mean, there's so many situations which you kind of don't know how it's going to turn because Jet is so kind of impulsive. You don't really know how she's going to react in a situation. And obviously, I loved Billy. He was so sweet. He's so lovely. You just want them to get together. You want them to recognise their feelings. You just think, oh my gosh, just hurry up and get on with this. You haven't got enough time. I thought Jet and Billy's relationship was really lovely. It was really sweet. He was there for her throughout. He was just so supportive. He was loving. He was lovely. And all the way through, I was just thinking, God, just get together, get together. You're really wanting them to get together all the way through. There were quite a few characters in there that I really didn't like. I really didn't like Jet's mum. I just found her, I mean, obviously, she's been through the death of one of her daughters years previously. And so that's obviously made her into the person that she is now. But I just thought she just wasn't understanding with Jet. I really didn't particularly like her. I didn't like Jet's brother or her sister-in-law. It's quite difficult reading such a big novel when you really don't like quite a lot of the characters. But then that also did make it interesting because, there was such a lot of arguments and twists and turns and, things that you don't expect, people you don't like, and they do things you don't like, which actually does make it a better read. I found it, it's really emotional. The book is emotional. All the way through, you do have the death of her sister, or sitting there all the way through, which just, it's really sad. But then finding out about her brother's involvement in that, I mean, that was just like that, I was really shocked. And then later on, everything that then does happen with her brother and Billy's father, and I mean, she did really manage to shock me. I wasn't expecting quite a lot of the things that were coming. Thought it was interesting, the moment when Jet did die, because all the way through the book, you see a slow breakdown of her health. Because when I first started reading, I was kind of expecting her to, breeze through that week, trying to solve the crime, and suddenly, boom, she's then going to die. The fact that as the days are going on, she's getting iller and iller, and you can see that it's having a huge effect on her, is really quite heartbreaking. But then by the time you do get to Jet's death, it happens so fast that it's quite shocking. But then it's also quite nice that you do get to read her letters at the end. So even though she's gone, you kind of feel that she hasn't quite gone yet. And it's very interesting that after all of this and all of the books, she does get to the end and she doesn't ever really properly find out who killed her. I couldn't believe the final twist when Billy's dad was revealed as the killer. I mean, you know, there were twists all the way through when you think, oh my gosh, can't believe that, can't believe this. I mean, Holly Jackson was brilliant in that, you know, for her first adult novel, she certainly threw all of the shocks out there and I was really surprised. And then I couldn't believe it right at the very end with Luke and his own father. I mean, I think that's the thing that kind of shocked me the most. When Luke's real dad was killed at the end, Billy's father, I don't know, you could, it was a shock, but then you could kind of see it coming and it playing out. But still, when it happened, you know, it was really shocking and it's quite abrupt as well. And then the book finishes and I don't know, it does leave me quite shocked and a bit sort of like unsettled at the end of the book. It doesn't feel like there's been like a huge resolution or it does leave you quite unsettled. I've never read any Holly Jackson before, but I really like her style. I love the way she writes. She captures you straight away with her characters. I love the way she writes a lot of dialogue. So you hear the characters' voices right from the very start and they all do sound incredibly different. So you really get into their characters straight away. I mean, this is Holly Jackson's first adult novel that she's written and it still has got like little feelings there of young fiction. So I think that would be a nice, you know, step upwards from if you're a massive fan of her young fiction. Boom, this is like definitely the next level for you. But it is pretty long, so once you get into it, you really are in it. And there are loads of twists and turns, which you've got to stay in there with. I'd recommend this book to people who like a really good thriller. To people who like twists and turns, thrillers, what's going to happen next, murder mysteries, and also fans of Holly Jackson's work that are growing up and want to take a step into adult fiction, because I think this is definitely the next step upwards. I think I would give this book a 3 out of 5 because I enjoyed it. It gripped me from the start. Because it was written with a lot of dialogue, you kind of get right in there and know the characters straight away. So I think ultimately I'd give it a 3 out of 5. This pizza was a perfect pairing for this book because what with the salami and the pepperoni, it is intense. It's delicious, it's intense, which is perfect for an intense thriller to read along with it. You can still grab a copy of Not Quite Dead Yet now from the Radio Times shop and remember to enjoy it with a delicious Ristorante pizza from your nearest supermarket for the perfect midweek pairing.